Mr. Rolle, you are here to prove you are not the father of Miss Gedelian's twin daughters.
Yes, ma'am.
You say she's infatuated with you, and that's the reason she wants to pin her babies on you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Gedelian, you say there is no question Mr. Rolle is the father of your twins. You say he left you with 2 babies and a broken heart.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Rolle, how has this paternity suit affected you?
First, I want to say, Your Honor, she's obsessed with me.
Why?
She would take pictures of me. She would sit there, she'll walk past my job, staring at me. Then when me and my ex broke up, I seen this, like, numbers of pictures that I never seen before. I didn't even know it was being taken.
So wait, you said you saw pictures you never knew were being taken.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you obsessed with him, Miss Gedelian?
No, Your Honor. I am
How
not.
did this relationship start?
On breaks and stuff, I would go over to his job and get drinks or whatever, and he was somewhat of like a player, you would say. He would flirt with everybody there. So, you know, he was flirting with me, I was flirting back. So, I mean, after a while, you know, I looked him up on Facebook, and we started writing on Facebook and whatnot, you know, because I thought there was something going on. You know, we were flirting with each other all the time. And after a while, he invited me over to his house.
So you're saying you weren't obsessed, you were just interested.
Right.
And this
yes,
was
Your Honor.
proceeding like a normal courtship would. You
Yes,
talked
ma'am.
on the phone, you Facebooked,
Right.
sent text. So at this point, Mr. Rolle, you're single.
No.
You're not.
No, when she sent me the message on Facebook, I had pictures of me and my ex together. We all would go trips, we'd do vacation. So she was well aware I was in a relationship when she hit me up.
No,
Okay.
Your Honor.
You knew
No,
that?
ma'am.
She was well aware. She went through my Facebook and were able to find out where I was at, how to message me. She seen the pictures of me and my ex.
If you had a girlfriend at the time, how did you end up flirting and being in this full courtship thing with Miss Gedelian? Don't get quiet now.
Your Honor, he was cheating.
I'm a friendly person. I get along with anybody. It's hard not to like me. So I didn't really feel like I was being flirtatious in the beginning because I was in a relationship with a girl. We was happy, but then as time went on, on my part, I just felt like our relationship was going downhill. That's when she hit me up on Facebook, and it went on from there.
Ms. Gedelian, were you starting a relationship with Mr. Rolle, or were you all just flirting and being single?
When we started talking, I thought there was a little, you know, more going on, a relationship starting. And then until he told me that he had a girlfriend.
So he tells you, I have a girlfriend.
He told me he had a girlfriend after we already had slept together.
Okay.
I wasn't, when you came to my home, you know I wasn't paying my bills by myself. Someone else was living there. I had pictures on the wall.
You had her at your house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I wasn't trying to hide it.
You're not that sneaky. You just bring another woman into your girlfriend's house.
I was wrong.
Are you using protection?
No, Your Honor, we weren't.
When you all were having this flirtation, you thought it was a relationship budding. He just thought it was nothing, casual. When did it change?
When he told me he had a girlfriend, I should have stepped back and just, you know, stopped completely. But then at that time, like, my feelings were already, you know, starting for him, and we just kept doing it. It was wrong, you know, but we continued to do what we were doing.
I wasn't gonna leave the girl I was with for her. It was just, I told her what the situation was, and she, in my mind, she understood what was going on. Then when she started catching feelings, and I know she would catch feelings because she would buy me things, bring me food to work, and I see that she would catch feelings, I tried to step back, and then next thing you know.
Your Honor, he knew that that I was catching feelings for him. I made it known to that, and he said that, you know, he was catching feelings for me too.
I told you what you wanted to hear.
And he was kind
Oh, hold on. He just said he told you what you wanted to hear. So you admit it.
Yep.
You admit it, Mr. Rolle. You did tell her you had feelings for her too.
I told her what she wanted to hear. I was leading her on.
You were leading her on with
Yes,
pride and conviction,
Yes,
just being a lie.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And all the while you with your girlfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your girlfriend ever find out about this?
Yes,
Your Honor.
She's Facebooked my girlfriend all the pictures, all the text messages that we had. Even after she broke me and my ex broke up, she continued to send pictures of that she's taken to my ex, even continued to talk to her.
You sent her the pictures, Miss Gedelian?
That was after I found out I was pregnant, and I asked him, I said, what would you do if I was pregnant? And he said, it would ruin my life. I said, well, then never mind. He says, you're pregnant, aren't you? And I said, you know what, I am. Don't worry about it. It's not your baby.
The first day, she told me she had to tell me something. I didn't find out. I had to actually like 2 or 3 days later what she wanted to tell me. That's when she told me she was pregnant. And of course it was gonna ruin my life, have 2 other kids. I take care of them, but at that time I wasn't ready to have no kids. I ain't want no more.
But you were having unprotected sex?
Yes, Your Honor.
With someone other than your girlfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
And telling her that you had feelings for her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, that math don't add up.
It don't.
That's recipe for baby making. If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. Let me make sure I'm on point with the facts. You find out you're pregnant, you tell him, you know he feels like it's gonna ruin his life. What gets in your mind where you decide, I'm gonna send these Facebook pictures over to this woman?
I found his girlfriend. We talked on the phone, and I told her that, I needed to tell her something very serious. I'm sorry that I did this.
This was like a public service announcement.
No, she needed to know that.
So at that point, you were filled with guilt.
Yes. She needed to know what was going on. He needed to step up to the plate and tell her, but he never was gonna tell her.
I was gonna tell her, but you just cannot force me to do something that I wasn't ready for.
So when you found out she sent the pictures over and now your ex knew about this, then what happened?
I called her and cussed out.
What did your ex do?
So when I got home one night from work, my ex was sitting at the table, she was sitting there crying, had the laptop open, I noticed all my clothes was packed. So when I went in the room and changed clothes, she came out, she was like, what's this? And she just started showing me all the pictures, and I got off the phone, I called her, I cussed her, I called her every name that my brain came up with.
This is because you're angry because she reached out to your ex.
I feel like she did it out of spite because I distanced myself from her, I just stopped talking to her. When she would come in my job, I wouldn't really say nothing to her, I just walk away from her.
Your Honor, no,
Trust me, I wasn't buying the public service announcement testimony anyway. So I'm sure that it was out of spite somewhat. But regardless, at this point, when you find out she's pregnant, your ex has been informed, do you think you're the father at this point?
No, because she was married.
What?
Your Honor, I was in the middle of a divorce. I had been separated from my husband for over a year. We were in the middle of a divorce that I was trying. The divorce lasted a very long time.
So, Mr. Rolle, your point is she wasn't completely divorced, so she may have still been having sex with her husband.
And I was told she slept with someone else. So, in my mind, I'm sitting there like, it can't be mine.
Where did you hear that?
From people I work with, and also people that works and the partner that she worked at also.
Had you slept with somebody else?
No, Your Honor.
You gotta prove me wrong.
Was Mr. Rolle there? Did he participate in the birth of the babies?
No, Your Honor. After I told him I was pregnant and everything, and after the whole thing happened with his girlfriend, he kept telling me, leave me alone. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with the babies. I already have, kids. I don't need any more. After a while of trying and trying and trying to get somebody to be there, and they keep telling you to leave them alone, eventually you just leave them alone.
In my mind, as another man on the birth certificate, another man was there for the birth, another man cut the umbilical cord. So in my mind, these are not my kids. If they were my kids, I would have had some part. You would have reached out to me at some point in time.
Hold on now, that's an important fact. There's another man on the birth certificate and another man was there for the birth?
I asked him if it was okay before it was even done, and he said he did not care.
Oh, so do you remember her approaching you and saying, look, I have a boyfriend now and he wants to sign the birth certificate?
It didn't happen like that. She was married. Like, in my mind, it was her husband. So you shouldn't come at me and ask me, is it okay?
But this person who signed the birth certificate, that's not your husband, is it? That's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
She said boyfriend.
That's between you and your husband because you're married.
Oh, so you can go and have unprotected sex with his wife, but then when she gets pregnant, it only has to deal with him.
Your Honor, he knew it wasn't my husband at the time. We all worked in the same building. My husband worked in the same building. My boyfriend worked in the same building as me and Mr. Rolle.
Well, Ron, ain't this all in the family?
Real close.
I worked there for 5 years. Kind of.
You just covered every department in that building. Listen, this is a mess.
But she also got mad, told me that she slept with another black guy.
Your Honor, that was in the beginning.
So you said that to him.
I said that because I was upset.
So now you
Right.
infused doubt,
Just like
even
Correct.
more doubt into the
It's
picture.
like throwing
Correct.
gas on a fire.
No, you was already lit. Let's be clear. You all over the place, Mr. Rolle. Don't try to look innocent now. You all over the place. But I will say, if it was any little point that he could have been checked in, you gave him a reason to check out then.
You know, I'm Bahamian. And the babies came out way too light.
Listen, they come in all shades and colors.
But
how can you just look at the children and say,
I got 15, 16 nieces and nephews. All of them take after my family. Dark, head full of hair, babies. And when these kids were born, it wasn't like that.
had anybody else in your family slept with Miss Gedelian? I mean, I'm not being funny. Because if not, her DNA was not involved. So that can't be a predictor of what these children are gonna look like. I think we need to meet the man that's on the birth certificate. Ron,
Yes, ma'am.
can you please escort Mr. Taylor into the courtroom?
Have you stand right next to Miss Gedelian, please. Right here.
Mr. Taylor, thank you for joining us today. You signed the birth certificate for these beautiful children when they were born, and you were also at the hospital when Miss Gedelian delivered.
I was. Me and Sarah had built a relationship. I knew she was pregnant. Obviously, I knew they weren't mine. There was rumors that say they were Willie's. There was rumors saying that they weren't Willie's. After our relationship built, I didn't care. I just knew that the man wasn't around.
So when you and Miss Gedelian started to form a relationship, you decided you wanted to give these children your last name.
I did. Where I come from, you don't lay down with a woman without protection or anything like that unless you're willing to understand that babies can happen. So to sit and deny when a woman comes up to you and says, these children may be yours,
But you didn't know what was going on between us, so.
I didn't
why-
care. It wasn't, it's not about you, it's not about her, it's about those children.
So, Mr. Taylor, in the meantime, you stepped up as their father.
I did.
These twins. You signed the birth certificate.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave them your last name.
Absolutely.
You've been their dad.
Along with my mother's names, which to me is a big deal.
Oh, they're beautiful. And I can see the love in your eyes when you look at them.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Rolle, you can barely look at them. I think it's time we go to the results. I'm ready. Thank you, Ron. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say before I read these results? Anyone?
If they're mine, I'm the only man that they need in their life. I appreciate what he did, but I can do it all myself.
Anything else you'd like to add? Mr. Taylor, Ms. Gedelian?
I don't want them to lose my last name.
All right, it's coming out their birth certificate, they're mine.
Were you denying them or are they
Ain't
yours?
nothing, if
Which
there ain't
one
nothing
is
you
it?
can do about it.
Confused. So they are yours now,
Well, shit.
or are they not?
Shit,
Like,
shit.
you keep
Yeah,
going
that's
back
why I'm here to
and forth.
find out.
Luckily for us all, I have the results. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Rolle versus Gedelian, when it comes to 5-month-old twins, Rebecca and Gracie Taylor, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Rolle, you are their father.
I just want to apologize for not being there. It's so much had happened in my anger issues, I just pushed them away. Like,
And I can see that really hurts you now.
my father denied me my whole life. Me and my brothers and sisters. And I did the same thing to them. I told myself I'd never do that.
You know, this courtroom is about getting to the truth, but I love it when people come into this courtroom and have the courage to just tell the truth. You admitted you had some doubt, but what I thought was even better about that, and that showed me who you were as a man, is that you admitted that you let anger get the best of you.
I appreciate what he did, but I'm the only man that them girls need in their life. You may want your name on their birth ticket, but that's not gonna happen.
We'll see.
You know, this is a difficult situation.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolle, with this information you've gotten today, you would have to proceed in your home state
I don't have no
to
problem
have
with that.
his name removed.
Oh, I understand.
Okay. So you've got some catching up to do, Mr. Rolle?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Taylor, you've got some adjusting to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Gedelian, you're going to have some mediating to do. Good day, Mr. Barron. You are here today along with your wife to seek results of a long overdue paternity test. You claim that Ms. Bradshaw has been claiming you are her son, Ian's father, for more than 25 years and has financially drained you by forcing you to pay support for a child you believe isn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Furthermore, you claim you will return to court to sue for $21,600 in what you say were fraudulent child support payments when you prove your paternity claims are correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Bradshaw, you admit you've completely confused your son, Ian Scott, by lying to him about his father's identity over the years. But you claim you believe Mr. Barron is your son's biological father. Your son will join us in a moment, and you are hoping today's DNA results will finally give him his full identity.
Yes.
Now, Mrs. Barron, why do you believe Ms. Bradshaw is lying about your husband being her son's father?
She's a liar. I've been with him for 25 years, and I don't have any children to him.
How could you be with him for 25 years when my son is 25? We were
Because-
not with him at the same time.
So,
I've been with him
explain
for
to me.
25 years. I've
you
been married
didn't.
with him for 13 years. I don't even think he can have children. I think he's sterile.
So you're saying in all of the years you've been together, you've never conceived a child with
No,
him?
ma'am.
She
and I
did,
sure
but
did.
not with
I
him,
sure
with
did. That has
someone
nothing to
else.
do with him.
Yeah, but you cheated on him.
Oh, and you didn't.
You always had to be with the
Hold
guy
on
that
one
I was
second.
with.
Hold on one second. Now, Mrs. Barron, I'm trying to understand from you. Why do you believe she's lying? I mean, this has been a long-standing accusation. Your husband's been paying child support. Why?
Because she's a liar. She told him that it was his child. He believed it. He took responsibility for it, and then she blames 3 different men. The father, it can only be one father.
Ms. Bradshaw, you admitted that you lied. Why did you lie about the paternity?
Okay, I was ashamed of him.
I'd
for
like to know
one.
why, too.
I was ashamed of him.
Because you
and
put
his
my
family
husband
for
in jail
one.
twice.
No, I didn't.
For this child.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
Saying
did.
he was the father. He was signing the paper.
Calm down. Fill me in on this. Mr. Barron went to jail twice for unpaid child support.
Yes.
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Explain yourself.
Okay. I took him for child support, and when we went in and had the hearing, I was under the understanding that he wasn't gonna sign the paper, that he was gonna get DNA, because his dad even said that he would pay for the DNA. And that's what I thought he was gonna do. He was
Well,
gonna
what
request
happened?
DNA.
Yeah, because
he signed
you
the
tricked him
paper.
into it and
No,
said,
I
"Oh,
did
I
not.
love you, it's
No,
my
I did not.
son."
No, he wanted to be with me.
Well, I didn't say not because he's married to me.
I told him it was over.
No, I told you.
Oh, yeah, right. Really?
you stop
All right,
my
all
brother.
right,
Yeah, no, I
ladies and
didn't.
gentlemen,
Yes, you
ladies
did.
and
No, I
gentlemen.
didn't.
So you thought he was going to take the DNA test.
Yes.
Why didn't you take the DNA test, Mr. Barron?
Because I thought it was my child. And then she started cheating on me, sleeping around and stuff, and I just told her it was over.
What did you find out specifically?
Maybe 3 weeks after we was together and stuff. Found out she slept with my brother.
No, I didn't.
Yes.
didn't.
Yes,
She's
you
dating
did.
his cousin
She's dating my cousin.
now.
You're
Keep it
dating
in
his
the
Yes,
cousin
she's
right
with my
now?
cousin
Yes.
right now.
But we'll just keep it in the family, but I'm the bad
mean-
girl because I helped pay for his child support.
Hopefully
they took out
it is my
social
son.
And she's saying it's this other man's kid. Why didn't he go for SSI? He was dead. She could have got SSI for 18 years and wouldn't have to worry about it.
So, Ms. Bradshaw, did you ever tell your son that anyone else could potentially be his father?
I told him what Mike was.
Yeah, he took her to a dead man's grave and said, this is your son.
Ms. Bradshaw, I need to understand this. You took your son to the grave.
Yes,
the
I did.
deceased man that you told him
Yes, I did.
was his father.
Yes, I did. And I was wrong. I was totally wrong for doing it because I knew that it wasn't his.
You knew when
Yes.
you took him to the grave
Yes,
that
yes, I
it
did.
wasn't his
But
father.
I wanted him to be. Me and him was going to get married and have more kids and be a family.
But I
and that
screwed
didn't
that up.
happen because he died.
So the whole time you were telling your son that this deceased man was his father
Yes.
and taking him to the grave
But my
site, you
husband
were
had to pay child
collecting the
support.
child support from Mr. Barron
Yes.
and cashing the checks.
But telling him it's
Yes.
another guy.
Ms. Bradshaw.
I know, I was wrong. And I regret it. And I told my son that I was wrong. But I didn't want to share my son. I did not want my son around them.
That's
I did. I
life.
seen him twice all his life. This is the lady I
yeah,
married, and
Christmas
this is
Eve
the
when
lady
you
I
came
want
over
to be
to my
with.
house in '96 and seen the son.
Yeah, the only time that
Yeah.
when we split up,
Because-
then you loved him
Split
again.
up.
All right,
That's
right.
let's
Love
get
him
some
again,
order. Mr. Barron, so even after all these years that you've paid child support, in your heart, you have doubt. You don't believe you're his father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Why?
I'm hoping I am, but
You are hoping that you
yeah,
are.
I'm hoping I am.
In your statement to the court, you enumerated many reasons why you had this doubt, including,
Because she slept around on me,
and why did
and
you,
he does not look like me.
he doesn't look like you.
No, he does not look like me.
Did she ever tell you you weren't the
Yes,
father?
she told me many a times, Your Honor. She did. Many a times she told me.
Did you,
that.
Miss Bradshaw?
Yes.
He's paid more than $20,000 in child support
Yes.
over the years.
Yes.
And to this day, he doesn't know if he's truly his father.
But he could have if he would have requested DNA at the beginning of all this.
You could have just
When
said,
I
hey, why don't
told
you
him
see
I
my
did.
son?
You was not
Wait
there,
a minute, wait a
Sharon.
minute, wait a minute. You
don't
keep
know.
saying if he would have requested DNA, but if you would have been honest, then he wouldn't have felt
was
so
honest, Your Honor.
confident.
No, you wasn't honest.
I told him from the beginning. I even told his mother and father. That is why the father said, I will pay for the DNA, because he knew that the chance that he might not be the father.
But he just said that he was certain that the child was his
Well,
until you got back
not
home
true.
and you were cheating.
no, it's not how it took.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
How has this uncertainty, this entire saga that you created, affected your relationship with your son?
We have problems. Mainly because of him knowing that Mike's not his dad and what I did.
I'm ready to hear from your son. Jerome, if you could please escort Mr. Scott into the courtroom, please. Welcome, Mr. Scott.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. Your mother has admitted to lying to you, specifically taking you to a deceased man's grave and telling you that that was your father.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you feel? How are you
When
doing
I
with your mom?
first found out that the guy that's dead wasn't my father, I was just devastated. I was very angry with her, and I just had so many emotions built up. And I kept after her about who my father was because Don was paying child support. I never got to see him. We never had a relationship. There was rumors floating around. We live in a small town, so it's easy to hear things. And I went to the dead man's parents' house, and I knocked on the door, and they let me in, and they talked to me, and they told me that he couldn't be the father because my mother had gotten with him after I was born.
Oh, how'd that feel?
It was horrible. I felt like I lost my dad again, you know. He was really the only dad I knew. You know, I would go to his grave every year. When I had problems, I would go and talk to the grave. It just felt horrible. I just don't understand how my mom could have told me all those years that he was my dad when she knew that he wasn't.
You can't even look at your mom today,
It's hard. It's very hard.
What do you want to say to her?
I just would like to know why. Why I was lied to all these years, several different lies. And that's why I'm here today. I want to know if Dawn is my dad, and
Mr. Barron, you're very emotional as well.
Yes.
What are you feeling?
Feeling upset. I just hope he is my kid, and I just wish, you know, I could have had a life with him.
He would never pushed him away. His mother always pushed him away.
Ms. Bradshaw, you are very emotional now, and you've told your story, and you've admitted to your lies, and you said you've apologized. Is there something you'd like to say to your son?
I'm so sorry. I'm truly, truly sorry. I was so wrong. As much as I hate the fact that Don could be your father, I should have told you from the beginning, and we should have done this sooner. I'm so sorry. It wasn't you, it was me. And it wasn't even them. As much as I hate Sharon, it wasn't even them. It was me. She made me all she wants. Yeah, but I'll admit when I do something wrong, and it's my son. And Ian, I am very, very sorry. Words can't say how sorry I am. If I could take it back, I would.
don't change the fact, though. I just always wondered who my father was. And I just always wanted to have a relationship with him.
I know.
I have a family now. I have a wife and a son. And if Dawn is my family, I would like to, you know.
And we will welcome you with open arms. The same as we would have whenever you were a baby, even though she didn't like me.
Will you please stand, ma'am? State your name for the court.
Brittany Scott.
I know, it's very emotional. And it's hard to see your husband hurting in this way. You probably know him best, and why do you feel it's so important for him to know now who his father is?
Because he's the one to know for a long time now, and I know how bad it hurts him. I married him last March, and shortly after, I became pregnant. And he said that he would always vow that he wanted to be in the kid's life. Like, he would read before the baby was even born and stuff. And because he never had a dad, so he always wanted to be that father figure.
Yeah.
And when I was 8 months pregnant, I lost the baby.
I'm so sorry.
And it's hard for both of us. But I think it's time for him to know who his dad is.
You think it's time for him to know?
I know it's time.
Well, the results are in. Mr. Scott, what are you hoping for today? How do we move forward either way?
If he is my dad, I just want to, start to have a family with them as well. Show my son that he has a grandfather, something I never had.
Your mother wants a relationship with you, I know.
We will still have a relationship, I'm sure. We fought a lot when I was younger. I was very, very, very angry when I was younger over all this. Since I've become a father and a husband, I kind of mellowed out, and I just want to do what's best for my family at this point.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're ready for the results. Jerome, do you have the envelope? Thank you. Jerome, do you have the envelope? I do. Thank you. This report was prepared by DNA Diagnostics in the case of Barron versus Bradshaw. When it comes to Ian Scott, Mr. Barron, you are not the father. You okay, Mr. Scott?
Just confused again. I don't know where to go from here.
Your son says he doesn't know where to go from here. And you're the only person in this room that could help direct him. Do you have any idea who his father could be in light of these results?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. And I'd like you to help me find who his real father is.
Mr. Barron, how do you feel?
Upset. Like I said, he can come see me anytime. As far as I consider it, he is my son. I paid for him for 18 years, sat in jail. He is my son.
I know the disappointment that you feel because the not knowing, I'm sure, can be overwhelming. But your mother has agreed in front of this court to give you and to give us information on who she believes is your father. And we will follow up on that. You can follow up on that. Mr. Barron, asked for your petition to receive the $21,600 you've paid in child support. This court is not the place where that type of judgment would be awarded. However, you can pursue that claim in your home state and understand that not every state allows for those funds to be returned because the funds are for the child. We'll be checking on you, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is adjourned.